just graduated drama school? Well, here are 12 things you can do now to kick showbiz in the balls. Make showbiz your bitch.
No.
Set yourself up for the business of showbiz.
That's the one.
Hi, I'm Scott. You're watching Inside Musicals, the channel for all things musical theatre. When I was at drama school, it was all about the craft and nothing about the business. The implication was, you take care of the acting, your agent will take care of the rest. Or if you're talented enough, it'll all fall into place. And neither of those things are true. Your agent is only part of the mix, an important one, but there are so many other things you have to do as an actor that aren't acting to make the acting happen. Does that make sense? So when I think about what I wish I'd done differently, what I wish someone had told me when I was starting out, here are 12 things I've learned. It's not the sexy stuff, but it might save you some struggle. Okay, so what's the first thing every graduate wants? An agent. What's the first thing you should do? Register yourself as a business. See, told you it wasn't going to be sexy. You're going to have to invoice clients whether you have an agent or not. And an official business identity gives you credibility. It says, I'm professional. You'll have an easier time quoting industry rates. It legitimises certain tax deductions and may help you qualify for certain benefits and grants. Now, in Australia, and this will be different all around the world, you register business names through ASIC, the Australian Securities and Investments Commission. And the simplest business structure for freelancers, and do your own research, is a sole trader, where essentially you and the business are the same taxable entity, which is different from, say, a company. Now, if that seems intimidating, it shouldn't be. It's a straightforward process, it doesn't cost much, and the benefits are well worth it in the long run. But before you choose that business name, check that the same domain name and key socials are also available. This is going to be part of your branding into the future, and ideally you want them consistent across platforms. So snap them up now while they're available, even if you're not sure what you're going to do with them just yet. Now, one thing no one ever tells you directly is that your value as an actor is not in your acting, or your looks, your personality, or your reliability. I mean, those things are all important, but your value, if you put a dollar figure on it, is in your box office appeal. So as soon as this can bring in an audience and you can demonstrate it, you're in a better position to negotiate above industry minimum. Choose the jobs you want rather than settle for the work you can get. And social media is an increasingly important part of that value, especially if you can mobilise that audience. Chances are you're much more social media savvy than I am, and that wouldn't be hard. So let's take a big picture view. Don't try to do them all. Be strategic. Keep it manageable. And remember, marketing is not so much what you want to say, but how it lands with your audience. So as you post, get to know who they are, what they respond to, what platforms they prefer, and put your energy there. And until your audience gets to know you and follows you for you, make sure your content gives them a reason to keep coming back. Maybe have a unique perspective on the weird world of showbiz. Maybe it's an actor's diary behind the scenes that the audience never gets to see. You know, the good, the bad, what you're doing now, what's coming up next, opening nights, meeting fans at the stage door. But whatever it is, find your way to build that rapport, that accessibility. Because from a box office perspective, active followers count for more than sheer numbers. But separate your personal and professional accounts. I mean, your audience may want to see you half naked at the beach. They don't care about your cousin's kids' gender reveal party. So keep it on brand. This is where we start to curate our online professional presence. But there's a limitation to socials, and that is its impermanence. We're at the whim of the platforms. They can change the layout, the feed, put ads wherever they want, charge you for reaching your own audience. I'm looking at you, Facebook. So for a permanent professional home, build your own website. This is where that domain name comes in. Now, if socials connect us with an audience, leverage your website towards employers. Even if you have e-commerce going on, treat it like a vivid resume where you get to tell your own story in your own words, show your best work in its best light with clarity and personality. Because most agents, I'm sorry to say, have terrible client pages. They're generic, impersonal, there's a headshot, maybe a chronology of credits, maybe an image gallery, and then it's just random images, odd sizes, poorly labelled. And it never quite tells the whole story. But on your website, you can devote a whole page to each skill set. So beyond narrative work, acting, maybe you're a great voiceover artist or director, stand-up comedian, an MC for events. Maybe you do vocal coaching, vocal workshops. Put it all here. Do what your agent can't do and give it space, as though you're advertising a product, which of course you are. You. And for each product, specify whether they should contact you directly or through your agent, just so there's no confusion. If you've never built a website before, there's two pieces to the puzzle. There's the domain name, which you'll need to register. Doesn't cost a lot. Then there's the hosting, which is where your website lives, and that can get costly. But if you can drag and drop in a word processor, you can use most website builders, so it's not going to be difficult. If you're not ready to build one yet, you can hold on to that domain name until you need it. Working with agents. Now, this is a long-term relationship, and this is where you start to build it. So if you're new to the agency, you're probably talking strategy. Short-term, long-term, how to get there, defining unique selling points. So ask what's expected of you, what you need to do now. Get to know how they like to communicate and how often. And if you don't have an agent, don't stress. It's not the end of the world. There is still time, and I have a video about how to get one. There's plenty of work you can be doing out there until you get one. Limited, maybe, but it is out there. And either way, it's those early jobs that build your profile, building professional credits, get you meeting people, help you qualify for union membership, which in some parts of the world can open doors. Number one tip, don't be precious about the work. One of the advantages of starting out is you don't have a brand to protect, so there's nothing to lose. What? There's an ad for hemorrhoid cream? Beautiful. Cheesy movie of the week? I'll take it. A spot on reality TV? Done. I'm there. If you do great work in crappy material, no one blames you for the material. If nothing else, it'll make for a great conversation on a talk show someday. And remember, even if your ultimate goal is musical theatre, do more than just theatre. There's nothing like the exposure from film and television to build an audience and leverage you from ensemble to lead when you go back to musicals. Now, if I were to say start building a network, do you run the other way or do you go in there guns blazing, commando style? And no, I don't mean without underpants. Although I did have this job once. Story for another day. Yeah. Look, gone are the days where we think we can schmooze that big name director for our lucky break. Could it happen? Is it likely? Because reaching up the food chain is a one-sided transaction till we have something to bring to the party. So our more valuable network is the one we cultivate organically, our network of peers. Most people want to work with people they've worked with before, people whose work they know, people they trust. So with each job, take a genuine interest in the people around you, not just the ones on stage. You'll cross paths with those actors again, maybe collaborate, but it's less likely to lead to work. So get to know the director, producer, stage manager, the publicist. You could do worse than having unexpected allies. I once got a film score because I'd worked with the sound designer who recommended me to a director. Or I've been to auditions where I've worked with the musical director who's accompanying me. Now, they're not going to do you special favours, but it feels like there's someone in your corner. Unless you slept with them and didn't return their calls. Ouch. Awkward. Now, if you just graduated and all this just sounds daunting, remember you already have a network in your fellow graduates. You know each other's strengths. You know how you think and feel. You trust each other. Except for Brett. It's always Brett. So keep in touch. Because if some of you good at writing, composing, arranging, directing, choreography, producing, publicizing, you could create a show to showcase your talents. But hold that thought. We'll come back to it. Now, if there's one thing I know about auditions is they always come at the last minute. So how do we stay audition fit? Maintain those skills we've worked so hard to develop. I mean, it's not like you're going to forget how to act or sing or dance, but it doesn't take long to lose that edge, that finesse, that ease. So here are 3 ideas. For physical fitness, coordination, strength, flexibility, stamina, put on your favourite music. Create your own weird-ass cardio routine with all the dance moves you've ever learned. Ballet, jazz, tap, some high kicks, time step, turns, and a little Fosse. Dance like no one's casting. 15, 20 minutes, 2-3 times a week, you're all set. How about vocals? I mean, who really has time to sit by the piano and do scales? Get yourself a karaoke playlist of your favourite songs, maybe your audition numbers. Sing your tits off in the car, or while you're doing the housework. I reckon the neighbours will love that. How about audition practice? Use your network. Get together from time to time and try out new material. Get some feedback from people you trust. Except Brett. Don't invite Brett. It's always Brett. Don't invite Brett. Who invited Brett? Next up, perfect yourself filming. It's a routine part of the job now, so treat it like any other skill. If you're still doing the bare minimum, it looks like this. Acting, my old friend. We meet again. Instead of this. Acting. We meet again. Yeah, good luck with that. You're doing yourself a disservice, and you could be losing work if the medium gets in the way of the message. It might sound unfair, but imagine the job came down to the two of you, of equal skill, and one's just easier to watch. Who would you have more patience for? Because even if you're auditioning for theatre, we're using the medium of film. So let's harness the language of film to make that performance pop. Now, we're not trying to pass it off as a feature film, but it should look intentional, free of distraction, and at least a step above a Zoom meeting. And there are two parts to it. There's the filming and the performance. So let's start with filming. You want to make it easy on yourself, so don't reinvent the wheel each time. Come up with one standard setup you can put together fast, and you only have to tweak to do something different. Make a list of your equipment and settings. Choose a location that's quiet, free of clutter, doesn't make you look hemmed in. You want lighting that puts the focus on you. Framing that makes sense. Audio that feels up close and personal. And maybe some post-production to trim the ends of the video. Label it if need be, and optimize those audio levels. Look, it doesn't have to be complicated and it doesn't have to be expensive if you start with what you have, say the camera on your phone. But then maybe you want to add a stand and a holder so you can put the phone where you want it, at the angle that you want. So start a wish list and add to it as you can afford it. And now that you've registered that business, it should be tax deductible. And maybe it starts with an external mic for improved sound. For lighting, you can make do with a domestic light if you know how to set it up, but maybe you add a bounce board for some fill. And at some point, you graduate to a professional light and stand for more versatility. Then further down the track, maybe it's a camera or lenses or an audio recorder. And for editing software, it doesn't get better than DaVinci Resolve Free. It has more than enough power for audition videos. And Blackmagic also now have a phone app for filming, so you can customize the settings and have a complete workflow. Now, there are a million and one choices you can make for acting, but start with the scale of the performance. Is it intimate, film-like, in which case a close-up might be warranted? Or is it physical, theatrical, where a wide shot might make more sense? You can eyeball the lens or look off-camera. And if off-camera, what's the optimum angle that doesn't exclude the audience? And think about what you're wearing. I mean, you're not generally expected to wear full costume. Just make sure it doesn't conflict with the character or the scene. You know, little things make a big difference, so practice. Get to know how you come across on screen and how your setup helps or hinders your performance. If I said, write a business plan, do your eyes start glazing over? Well, here's a sobering thought. One of the main reasons people leave the entertainment industry is financial pressure. And statistically, the majority of graduates leave within the first couple of years. So to ease that financial pressure, a business plan tells us where the money's coming from and how we're going to make it happen. Now, there are a lot of moving parts, so let's take a simplified version here. Yes, there's the obligatory budget of weekly expenses. You know how to do that. Rent, bills, food, transport, contingencies. And this is our break-even point that tells us the minimum we need to earn just to make ends meet. And here's where most people make the mistake of thinking that the choice of income is between acting and a day job, because neither of those satisfies our two most pressing needs, continuity of income and flexibility. So the solution is marry rich. What, not willing to compromise your ideals and feign love for pretty things? What little you know about show business. Okay, solution number 2. We create multiple income streams so that if any one of them dips, there's at least another one to pick up the slack. So let's start with 5 streams. You might come up with some others, but we're going to call them agent, day job, self-employment, passive income, and bonus. Now, in the agent category, we only count any ongoing work towards our break-even point. So that might be a season in a show, recurring voiceover work for a TV network. Anything short-term goes in the bonus category because it's unpredictable. Okay, day job. Apparently it's a thing. You walk in, you walk out, you get paid. Someone employs us by the hour. And like our agent category, whether it's a civilian job or entertainment-based, like piano bar work, makeup assistant on a film, dresser in the theatre, it only counts toward our break-even if it's regular hours every week. If it's one-off, again, it's a bonus. So why is day job only part of the mix? Well, it's not always flexible. Sometimes we need to take time off for an audition, then we lose that income. Or we get into a show and then the job's not there when we get back. So don't want to put all our eggs in that basket. That's why I'm defining self-employment as a separate item. Yes, it's recurring work, also paid by the hour, but it's initiated by us. and it's often client-based. You did register that business, didn't you? And it's whatever skills you have. Could be vocal coaching, running a choir, massage, fitness training. The defining difference from day job is its flexibility. So if we do have that audition, we can reschedule a client without losing that income. Or if we're in a show, we might be able to maintain some of these as a daytime side hustle. I've never heard anyone complain about having too much money. Now, passive income is a different beast. It's where we do the work once and it continues to generate income around the clock while we're doing other things. It could be merchandise on that website you built, an ebook, an online course, an album of songs, investments. But the distinction is it's not limited to an hourly rate. And finally, there's the bonus category. And this is a catch-all for all those one-off, unpredictable jobs from any source. Singing in pubs, a guest spot on telly, graphic design on Fiverr if that's your thing. And if we've nailed down that break-even point in those other categories, then this is just gravy. And whereas a day job on its own can feel soul-destroying when we want to be doing something else, if you work it right, each of these income streams could be satisfying in its own right. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, but it is a plan. Now, after studying and getting an agent, you probably have a flurry of activity. Your headshots, revising your resume, go-sees with casting agents. But if you don't get work straight away, it can all feel like it grinds to a halt. So organise your week. It doesn't have to be my schedule. It's whatever works for you. You're an independent contractor now. No one's telling you what to do and when, and this is where a lot of people struggle, even those who say they don't want structure. Without some kind of plan, days can roll into one another with nothing to show for it. That can get real depressing real quick. So treat yourself like a business. Give yourself work hours. Are you a morning person, night owl? Is it a half day, whole day, 3, 4, 5 days a week? What are your tasks and deadlines? How are you generating new contacts, following up on leads? How are you maintaining your craft, catching up with your agent? Do you have a day job? How does it all fit in? And here's a suggestion. Get yourself an accountability buddy. Someone from your network, someone you trust. Except Brett. Don't invite Brett. Who invited Brett? Laugh. Nearly invited Brett over. Someone you can bounce ideas off. Someone who'll hold you accountable for your goals. It can be a great motivator, if only to avoid shame. Oh, Brett. And as part of this accountability, always have a project of your own. So if nothing else is happening, you have a creative outlet, something to focus on. And not just a hobby, something with a concrete outcome. A play, a screenplay, songs, a musical. Because here's the point I wanted to come back to earlier. Every musical theatre performer should have a show of their own to showcase their talents. So write your own show. Called cabaret, concert, soiree, a play with songs. This should be all of your party tricks. The best of the best. Comedy, character, songs, instruments, physical humour, tears. Make us weep in a 3-minute song. And find your own perspective on the material. If you're just doing covers, sung nicely, but maybe not living up to the original, it's a missed opportunity. You might as well be doing background music. Because this show is not just about ticket sales or short-term employment. It's building an audience, showing directors, producers, casting agents what you can do in a lead role. And make sure you film it with a high-quality audio mix for your resume. If you don't think you can do it alone, turn to your network. Write it together, perform it together. It's never too early to be entrepreneurial. Look at Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie producing, Bradley Cooper writing, directing. Why? Creative satisfaction, a big piece of the pie, more say in their own destiny. You're not going to make a Hollywood movie straight out of drama school, but it starts with small steps. So instead of that one-off gig for a couple of $100, write your own show where you get a cut of every ticket sold. Or if someone in your network wants help writing a show, say you'll do it for free, but you want a minimum retainer and a percentage of ticket sales from every performance. And if it's successful, you're earning money while you're doing other things. And don't sell for profit share. It's easy to make profits disappear. As I said at the top of the video, there are so many things you have to do as an actor that aren't acting to make acting happen. Now, you could deny it, you could resist it while you're sitting by the phone and feeling like it's all beyond your control. Or you can embrace some of these tips to feel just a little bit more in control. So start with the ones that are most relevant to you. If you'd like more tips, or maybe a full tutorial on self-filming, writing a cabaret show, leveraging social media, let me know in the comments. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I really do love you. Now get out there and be brilliant.